Hello, I'm Brian Little and I work in the UK at Moorfields Eye Hospital in London, where I'm one of the consultant staff on the Cataract service. The video you're about to watch, entitled Symmetrical Scaffold, is an excellent production which presents a highly persuasive argument for favouring a pars plana over a limbal approach when performing anterior vitrectomy during complicated cataract surgery. The argument is based on the principle that the anterior vitreous normally has an important role in providing significant posterior support for any in-the-bag lens implant. They illustrate this by demonstrating that IOLs implanted inside the capsular bag following anterior vitrectomy via a limbal approach can be significantly tilted due to asymmetric vitreous removal, and therefore asymmetric vitreous support, and the induced IOL tilt in turn adversely affects the quality of vision. They extend this argument to show that removal of the anterior vitreous is more extensive and complete via a pars plana approach, which is also more likely to preserve the remainder of the posterior capsule to accommodate an IOL in the bag. The consequence of this is that there is no vitreous at all remaining behind the posterior capsule, and therefore the support is more symmetrical and the lens less likely to tilt. They show a nicely illustrated case history in support of this argument, so please enjoy the video and see if you are persuaded to adopt a pars plana approach.
Symmetric Scaffold, Stable IOL. Stability is all about achieving the right balance, and balance is all about the perfect symmetry. Managing vitreous prolapse in a posterior capsule rupture is one such situation. In our pursuit for excellence, we have shifted from a limbal approach to a pars plana approach to adequately remove vitreous from the anterior chamber and around the posterior capsule rupture without enlarging the rupture. This is taking us closer to our goal of in-the-bag IOL implantation. Look at this case here. Following posterior capsule rupture, a good vitrectomy has been performed around the tear. The surgeon has even managed to implant the IOL in the bag. Post-operatively, the surgeon is thrilled, but the patient is not. What is amiss here? This ever so familiar situation of the IOL tilting. Though doesn't seem to be much of a problem on slit lamp evaluation, it could be a source of imperfections in quality of vision for the patient. Have we ever thought why this happens? We have always thought of the posterior capsule as the sole support for IOL placement and stability. Our aim, therefore, has always been to achieve an adequate capsular support. Additionally, the aim of anterior vitrectomy has also been limited to clearing the prolapsed vitreous from the anterior segment. However, the supporting role of the vitreous has been ignored. What we never understood is that the posterior capsule and anterior vitreous act as one conjoined unit, and it is this entire unit together that provides a scaffold for IOL placement. The symmetry of this entire scaffold, in turn, ensures IOL stability. When the vitreous face is disrupted and only part of it is removed, the symmetry of the vitreous scaffold is disturbed. This animation explains it further. This is exactly what happens in a limbal vitrectomy. The ergonomics of negotiating the vitrector through the capsular opening limits removal of the anterior vitreous to the area behind the PCR. This leaves behind pockets of anterior vitreous that are not removed. in turn leading to an asymmetric scaffold for the IOL. If we wish to restore this symmetry, it is important to remove vitreous all around the capsular bag. This is best achieved by the pars plana approach. When introduced through the pars plana, the vitrector can easily remove adequate amount of anterior vitreous symmetrically behind the IOL capsular bag complex. The result? A symmetric scaffold for the IOL. We chose the Miyake apple view to help further demonstrate this. Look at the asymmetric removal of the anterior vitreous behind the capsular bag when a limbal vitrectomy is performed. Additionally, the traction on the vitreous base and the capsulo-zonular complex may worsen IOL instability. Now have a look here. Can you appreciate the distinct ergonomic advantage and the unrestricted access circumferentially that the pars plana approach provides? Thus, a symmetric scaffold for the IOL. Not convinced yet? Here, a multifocal IOL is implanted in the bag and viscoelastic is being removed. Oh, what's this? There's a huge tear in the posterior capsule. Presence of vitreous in the anterior chamber meant that we had to perform an anterior vitrectomy. Take a look. The vitreous has disappeared from the anterior chamber. Typically, this would have meant an end of the procedure. But we did not stop here and continued removing the vitreous circumferentially behind the IOL. The result? Notice how stable the IOL is and continues to remain so until 1 year on from surgery. This is confirmed on ultrasound biomicroscopy as well. But the icing on the cake is the excellent visual quality. Look at the negligible IOL-induced aberrations that the eye has. This is owing to the symmetric positioning of the IOL in the bag. Needless to say, we did keep a close watch on the posterior segment as well. Here's another case. We encountered a PCR early in the surgery. Pars plana vitrectomy removed the prolapse vitreous from the anterior chamber. Lens removal was done with low parameters. Before implanting the IOL, we proceeded to circumferential vitreous removal, thus designing a symmetric scaffold for the IOL. We are now convinced that combining a strong posterior capsule support with a symmetric anterior vitreous removal together is the formula for a symmetric scaffold, stable IOL.